Miss Liz, tea time, yeah, making a difference, one cup at a time, yeah, Miss Liz, tea time, yeah, making a difference, one cup at a time, tea time. So be sure to grab your tea, grab a seat, and tune in to Miss Liz, tea time. Making a difference, one cup at a time. Tea time, yeah. Tea time, time.
Well, welcome everybody. It is a Tuesday. That's right. And we have a special guest. This is a special tea time. Who else to bring that would be extra special is the lady who wrote the world's first tooth fairy ever. That's right. We're going to talk some fairy tales and some children's books, some foundation donating books, pajamas. We're going to talk about it all today on Tea Time. So I have the incredible Zane Carson Carruth in the back. She is the executive producer, vice president of Carruth Foundation, the Philanthropist International bestseller. She is all of it and a good cup of tea because she's going to be serving you guys all a good TEA this afternoon. So I want you all to share this Tea Time. Go to the channel, Miss Liz's Tea Time YouTube channel. Give it a quick subscribe, and all of the podcast stations that you find me on. Give it a quick subscribe. Share it with all your friends and loved ones because there's a different flavor of tea that's served every time we serve the TEA with Miss Liz. So let me give you a little intro and stuff, and then we're going to get Zane in. Loved ones. Oh, and we're going to start that. Are we okay? So if you see a bloop, Miss Liz is still here. You'll still hear me. Don't worry. Just keep on going. Disclaimer for Miss Liz's Tea Time live show. Miss Liz is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised that the content brought forward for any Tea Time show hosted by myself, Miss Liz, is always brought forward in good faith. However, may bring forward dialogues and opinions that are not representative of my platform. The facts and information are perceived to be accurate at the given time of airing. All Tea Time guests and audience participants are responsible for using their good judgment in taking any action that may relate to the discussion. The content brought forward may include discussion for some where they may be emotionally at risk. It is significant to know that this show is engaging in discussion forums only to offer and inspire awareness and connection, and is not providing therapeutical advice. If you have any questions about the disclaimer or the panelist discussion, you may freely contact me, Miss Liz, through my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com. Moving forward, should you choose to voluntarily participate in today's show in any aspect, I myself, Miss Liz, welcomes you. And should you find that this show is not made for you at this time, I respect those wishes and will see you at a later show at a later date and time. Now, again, all Tea Times this year in 2023 are done on a Thursday, except for special tea times and rescheduled tea times, which are done on a Monday and Tuesday. So now I'm going to get a little bit on who Zane Carson Carruth is. She's a philanthropist. Zane Carson Carruth is an award-winning international children's book author, a certified business etiquette and protocol professional, and sits on numerous nonprofit boards in Houston, Texas, as well as the vice president of Carruth Foundation. Carruth has completed 5 captivating books in the trademark series about the world's first tooth fairy, including the world's first tooth fairy ever, The Adventures of Annabella and Her Magic Wand. Abella, I'm not saying, I think Abella, I think it is. Uh, Starts a tooth fairy school. Abella goes to the rodeo, and Abella gets a new hairdo, which is the latest book. So we'll be talking about that today. These books that teach responsibility and kindness. Her books have won admirable awards such as the Story Monster Seal of Approval, the Storybook of Approval, the Purple Dragonfly Book Award, and now the Parent and Teacher Choice Award, one of the most recognized international awards by both parents and teachers. Zane is also the executive producer of Abella First Tooth Fairy. She's a co-host a live stream broadcast on USA Global TV and radio titled Elegance, Polish, Demurmer, I can't say it, and Pause Living, the last Thursday of each month. I'll get her to bring that up. I'm having trouble again with my tongue here. One of Carruth's greatest joys as an author is donating her books to young children. She has served as a board member on the Houston Grand Opera Board since 2015 and serves on the Marketing and Communication Committee as well as Special Event Committee. She's also sits on the SPCA Board of Directors and serves in the capacity of Assistant Secretary and serves on the Capital Campaign Committee. She's very active on the Capital Campaign Committee for the new campus, and her personally raised over $3 million. She has been on the board of directors of Discovery Green Conservatory for 3 years. In 2020, Zane was honored to be named on ABC 13 Women of Distinction, an honoree of Houston Business Journal Woman Who Means Business Awards, received the Story Monster Book Award, and was elected as a 2020 Top Impact Maker honoree by CKW Luke magazine. Now let me get her in here, and anything that I've said incorrect, I'm going to get her to share with you. My tongue is just twisting today, and I'm going to get Zane to share with all of you guys. So let me get her in here. Welcome, Zane.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, there you go. I can hear you now.
Okay, good.
So, Zane, for all the things that I said wrong, if you could correct it really quickly, and then we'll get into the books and all that good stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, the broadcast is called Elegance, Polished Demeanor, and Posh Living. And I have guests on there who, in their own way, contribute to an elegant way of life for someone. And that can be an interior decorator, a doctor. Really, everybody has something to contribute. And it's just a fun show. It's 30 minutes long, and it's pre-recorded, which is good because you can, cut out the bloopers. But and I did a lot of bloopers last week for some reason. One of those days.
The bloopers are what sell everything, man. That's why I tell everybody, Miss Liz I'm the blooper lady. Like, I can't pronounce stuff sometimes, and I'm just like, what the heck is going on here?
Well, join the club. I'm with you. I hear you. I feel you.
So, Zane, I want to get into who you were as a little girl and who you are now as a grown lady for the viewers that are just tuning in.
Well, I grew up I grew up in a small town, which gave me a lot of unique opportunities that are only available in a small town. We were big on Friday night football. My parents had parties, one right after another. They were big in bridge. They were big in dance clubs. So we always had people at our house. We were always getting ready for a party or cleaning up after a party. And I grew up in El Campo, which is a rice farming community. I just like to say of the world, but it's really not of the world. But it's a rice farming community in the South. And it was just a different way of living because everybody had a rice farm that we would go to their farms. Maybe we'd ride horses. But it was just a lot of fun. And there's a difference growing up in a small town, I think, versus a big town because, you walk to your best friend's house, you get on your bike and you ride over there, and everything was just a lot simpler back then.
I like small towns. I come from a small town. Where I live now, they call it like a semi-city, but I grew up in a small town of less than 12,000 people.
Oh,
So
what town?
Hearst, Ontario. So it's way up north. I'm in Cornwall now, but I
Oh,
come from the northern cold, -50 weather. Yes, I'm an Eskimo.
oh my word. Yeah, oh gosh, well, you've got thin blood then if you can live like that.
Oh yeah, I got the northern thick blood in me.
Yes.
So Zane, what got you into writing children's books?
Well, I've always loved to write, and I actually had a teacher that encouraged me. I wrote a little story one time. We were told to write a story in English class, and she raved about it. And I didn't grow up hearing a lot of real positive. My parents just were not that way to shower you with a lot of positive affirmations or compliments. So I was so taken back by getting compliments that I thought, well, this was really neat. So I started writing in a journal, and I just love to write. And one day, about 28 years ago, I picked up a spiral notebook and just started writing a story based on my daughter, but it was about a little fairy, and had no idea where this story was going to go until she lost the pearl off her tooth. And I thought, oh my gosh, this could be about the tooth fairy. So I took that idea and wrote the book, The World's First Tooth Fairy. And it just explains how the legend of the tooth fairy came about. You'll never have to wonder. Once you read my book, you'll know, and then you will have peace about it.
Well, and so many of us have grew up with the tooth fairy, right? And,
Yes.
it just brings us back to the little girl or the little boy, oh, put your tooth under the pillow, or, some of us were taught to put it in our socks, put it on the bookshelf. Like there were so many different stories, right?
Well,
I just love the title, the world's first tooth fairy ever. Like it's so original. It's the world's first tooth fairy, guys. Like this tooth fairy goes around the world.
yeah, that's it. Bada bing, bada boom. It's over. Yeah, that's it. Every country has a different tooth fairy tradition, and that was a lot of fun when I did some research on that topic for a paper I had to write, or an article I had to write. And so all over the world, people celebrate the passage of teeth. It is a rite of passage for children, as we all know and love and have experienced firsthand.
So Zane, doing all that research on the tooth fairies and the tradition, what was the one that shocked you the most?
I think probably maybe Mexico, or one of them. It was a rat. Was their tooth fairy? It wasn't a fairy. It wasn't as pretty like what we have, but they had different animals that represented, getting that tooth or the tradition. And that's what surprised me the most is some of them weren't as pretty as ours. They weren't as whimsical. They were just different, just very different.
Wow, I just learned something new. That's what I mean. When we don't know, right? We need to educate, and we need to bring that to the table so other people can understand.
Yes, yeah, and that's an interesting topic to Google. Tooth fairy traditions around the world, and I may have it wrong. It might not have been Mexico that had that rat, but somebody had that, and I'm still traumatized by it.
Yeah. Well, I know growing up, if I lost my tooth at different places, like if I lost my tooth at grandma and grandpa's, we had to put it in a certain spot. If we lost it at home, we put it under a pillow. If we lost it at a friend's house, we were supposed to put it into our socks, because the tooth fairy was coming to visit and wanted, when you go to sleep, you take your socks off. Yeah. So it didn't know to find it under the pillow or find it on the dresser. So I was always like, why in the sock? Like, seriously? Like, it's going to be like, why there?
I love that. Well, yeah. You had imaginative parents and playful parents, it sounds like.
Yeah. Well, I had imaginary friends, parents. Yeah. Because I didn't sleep up very much at anyone's house, but I mean, the ones that I did, I think I lost 2 teeth at a friend's house, and they were like, put it in the sock, and I was like, what?
I've never heard that. Now I'm going to have to repeat that sometime. I think that's very clever.
Right? It's the sock fairy.
Yes, the sock fairy.
So, how did you get the name for the little fairy?
I love the name. I just kind of researched some names, and I just love the name Abella. I think it's very pretty. It's feminine, and but her best friend's name is Darcy, Darcie, and her brother is Gage. So just names that I came up with, just at my discretion. You just could. That's what's the wonderful thing about being a writer. Anything goes. You could do whatever.
So it's Abella, right?
Abella, yes.
Abella. I don't know why I was putting that M in there. Like I was putting Annabella. I don't know why.
A lot of people call her Annabella, or they pronounce it lots of different ways, but it's just real simple, Abella. Instead of Bella, but it's Abella.
So Abella has gone on some really incredible adventures.
Yes, she has. Yeah, she got her magic wand, and then she started a tooth fairy school, and she goes to the rodeo, and she gets a new hairdo, and that's always fun too.
Well, we were talking about the hairdo in the background because we were talking about perms. I don't know if any of your viewers out there have ever gotten a perm when you were a little girl and you were just like, oh my God, this is bad. But you do it again, the second and the third
you
and the
just go
fourth.
to the drugstore full of hope. You have so much hope that you're going to get these luscious, gorgeous curls. But what do you end up with?
You end up with like this wiggle. I was called Wigglies in school because I had so many perms growing up. Everybody called me Wiggly Giggly. And I was just like, oh
that's
my God.
Cute.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I giggled when I got nervous. I always, when I got tired, I giggled. When I was nervous, I giggled. When I was scared, I giggled. So I have the nickname Giggles.
I bet you do.
But Wiggly Giggly is what I was called in school from a lot of my classmates. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a sweet name. Very sweet name.
So Zane, let's hear about Abella's hairdo. What happened there?
Well, she wanted something different. She'd worn her hair the same way all those years, and Darcy tried to talk her out of it. Darcy's her best friend and is in every book as well. And so Bella said, no, I've already bought the permanent from the drugstore, and I'm going to Miss Clark's house this afternoon, and she's going to give it to me. So off they went. Well, Bella was really excited, and then she kept watching her roll her hair in these little bitty tiny curlers. And even Abella was smart enough to know those little bitty curlers for my long hair is going to be disastrous. So oh my gosh, she just had hair this big. Abella's hair was everywhere.
That's usually what happens, right?
In the door. Yes, just a boing. So she didn't panic, but they went to the beauty salon, and the lady fixed it. And Abella, the moral of the story is, so what? You tried something new, it didn't turn out. You can always fix it. Usually most everything is fixable. And her best friend Darcy was with her every step of the way, because the books kind of focus, the thread between all my books is friendships, and how Darcy is a good friend to Abella, because Abella's the one who does everything, and Darcy's just happy to go along, get along kind of gal.
I like it. Well, and your books are about taking responsibility and kindness. So
yes.
Is there a message in each of the books that you've shared?
Yes, there certainly is. Especially the very first one was about bravery, because she got lost and she didn't freak out. She just stayed calm, thought about how she was going to get home. And anyway, she was rescued. And then the second one, she gets her magic wand. Well, she messes up her brother's baseball game. Well, she took responsibility for that and apologized. And Darcy was so sweet and didn't make her feel bad about making that mistake. And then going to the rodeo, she followed directions when she didn't want to. She wanted to do what she wanted to do, but the mother cow told her differently. And she followed directions. So that one was a lot of fun. And then the hairdo one is just, trying something new, being brave, taking responsibility, but, don't freak out over it. Things happen in life. It's okay.
And don't do it again. But
yeah, don't do it again.
We already know where that goes, right, Zane? We do it again.
For some reason, you just think the next time. Yeah, because I didn't ever get curls like you did. My hair would just burn because my hair is so fine. It was horrible. It was just terrible. But I did it numerous times.
Yeah, my hair is so thick, I look like a big gold sheep. Like, I mean, like, it was like poof.
Oh,
Like,
I bet you would look like Abella.
who knows? Maybe Miss Liz and Abella will have an adventure together.
There you go.
I just love how you bring play to your books, the children's books, because we need play, we need imagination, right? Uh,
Oh, yes,
we need those
yes.
kids opening up their minds and just trying and getting brave, getting courageous.
Well, thinking outside the box, doing something different, spreading a little kindness and humor. I mean, I think innocence really needs to be brought back into our children's lives. And I did a 3D video of Abella. It's called Abella's First Tooth. The guy who produced Thomas the Tank Engine produced it, and then the guy who won a Grammy for Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood did the song. And it's wonderful. But not the whole reason I did that, I was really hoping to get a series picked up, which it has not happened yet, because I just thought, we've got to bring some innocence back to kids, especially these TV shows they watch. It's so
Yeah,
boy, it's
some of
over
the
the top scary. I think, just personally,
yeah.
I think it's too much the way violence and but just bring back. I mean, my kids grew up watching Casper the Friendly Ghost, Speed Racer. I mean, innocent little things.
Yeah.
But we need that. We need to bring that back, and that's why I'm am proud of my books, because they are just pure friendships, pure innocence, and they just take you to a different place in your mind.
I am so glad that you brought that up, thing, because we need to bring the innocence. We need to bring children back to being children. We're
Yes,
forcing them to be adults way too soon. We're giving them topics that they don't even need to be talking about. Go and read a fairy tale book, and open the mind. Imagine, have some imaginary friends. I had a lot of them growing up.
did you?
And a
What were
lot
some
of
of their
them got me
names?
in a lot of trouble too, because I would go and take the rhubarb from my grandma's garden and say, "Oh no, but Betsy took it from you, Grandma." She'd be like, "Betsy's not here, Miss. You know, Liz is here," and I'd be like, "Oh shoot!" And then I would try and blame it on my siblings because I loved the rhubarb, and she always knew it was me because I always went in and grabbed a container of sugar. I busted myself with the sugar.
Oh, I've never had rhubarb, but evidently it needs sugar to taste good.
Oh yeah, it makes the world of difference. Just add the sugar, and the rhubarb is good.
And you would eat it raw?
Oh yeah. I-
You just
oh,
pull it out of the garden?
pull it out of the garden and just dip it in the
Shoot.
sugar and eat away.
Well, that sounds fun. I could have been your friend. I could eat rhubarb with you.
And when my grandpa was the junkyards, we used to go in the junkyards where all the cars were, and we pretend we were
Oh,
race car
yeah.
drivers, and we believed that our cars were magical, like the magic school bus. And oh yeah, we opened it right away. Miss Liz had fun when I used my imagination. When I was other stuff, it wasn't so fun, but I always
But
tried to
it
keep that
sounds like
imagination open.
you
Yeah.
have a very large, vivid imagination. Do you write children's books?
Not yet.
Well, I think there's a book in there, and I think there needs to be some rhubarb in there.
Maybe I'll write that. My grandma's 97, so I can ask her some of the things that she used to tell me when I used to get caught. So
That's a good idea. Yeah, now's the time to do it.
yeah, yeah. My grandma is my best friend, so we need to
Oh,
keep that relationship alive. And get imagination from the older people, because the seniors, they got a vivid imagination too, and they could write a good
yes.
story.
Well, and that would be a good project for y'all to write that book. I think you and your grandmother should do that.
Yeah, I think we should have those kind of books out there where we have
Yes,
the stories of grandma and grandpa and how we grew up, right?
yes,
And have our
yes.
grandparents write with us, like be co-authors. I think it'd be
I
pretty
know.
cool.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. My mother writes children's books. Well, she wrote one. She's way more talented than I am, but it was great. She sold a lot of copies. She did real well, but it was a book of stories of little imaginary animals. Mostly all were animals, but it was fun.
So Zane, do you remember the nursery rhymes growing up?
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that we need to bring those back too.
Yes, maybe not so drastic, like falling out of a tree in a
Right?
crib,
When I
or
found out about that one, I was like, oh, I don't know if I like
yeah, I
it.
mean they were pretty. Grimm's fairy tale. There was a reason they called it Grimm's fairy tales, I think, because
Yeah, I
yeah,
think we
some of
need to
those
bring
little
that.
nursery rhymes.
So if you could
Yeah,
write a nursery rhyme, Zane, what would you write it about?
well, I don't know. I would. I don't know. I don't know. I have to
For all the
think
viewers
about it.
out there, let's start getting nursery rhymes. Let's bring the nursery rhymes back. Just spur of the moment. Just write a
Well, that
nursery
would be
rhyme.
a fun contest to have for your
Right?
listeners to give us your best 4-line nursery rhyme, and and then pick one, and I'll send them a set of books. I think that'd be fun.
I think that'd be fun too. And I'm kind of curious what my viewers and listeners would come up with. 4 lines contest, nursery rhyme. Come on, we got it. We're gonna put
Yeah,
it out
yeah, that
there.
would be fun. Everybody's a winner.
And bring up your childhood memories and stuff like that. Let's make it fun. Let's make it playful. So
Yes.
for all the viewers and listeners that are listening now, it's out there. But share this tea time and get it out there. And we're gonna run this. And anyone that sends me a 4-line nursery rhyme, I'm gonna send it to Zane, and we're gonna pick who
Yes, we
won.
are. And I am happy to send a complete set of the world's first tooth fairy trademark series.
Say that
All
5
5
times.
books.
When our tongues get all twisted and we're so
Yeah.
excited and we're happy, you know, the tongue twisters come in, and then
Well,
we
yeah,
want to
because
say something,
your
right?
mind's thinking faster than your tongue can talk.
So, Zane, I want to get into your T. So, if I give you the letters TEA, what T would you give to the viewers today?
Well, I would think that kindness, responsibility, friendships. I'm a huge believer in not kicking people when they're down. And you see that a lot in my books because Lilabella, she's obnoxious. I mean, not obnoxious, she's rambunctious. And she does a lot of things that, come back to haunt her. But, she always makes good on it. But her little best friend, Darcy, never makes her feel bad. She just says, oh, remember when you saved that little frog, or remember when you did that? You're an awesome maker, Abella. And I'm huge in that. And sometimes it's tempting, especially if you think what someone did was like, seriously. But you just have to bite your tongue and not make people feel bad. People beat themselves up enough, in my opinion. At least I know I do. I don't need anybody reminding me of coulda, shoulda, done, woulda, better. But we all know we could have.
What it could have, should have. We've all been down that road, right?
Yes, yes.
So, Zane, growing up, did you ever say that woulda, coulda, shoulda?
I think I didn't hear about that really until I got in high school, or maybe it was out of high school. And I remember my friend who said it, coulda, shoulda, woulda, but didn't. And I thought, okay, now that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, but didn't.
Didn't even go there.
No, I wish I'd have thought of it though.
I want to get into your favorite color, Zane. Your favorite color is
My favorite
blue.
color is blue. I love blue and yellow together, and I love blue and orange. I just like blue. I just love blue. I have a lot of blue in my closet, and my decorating in my homes is a lot of blue. So it's blue.
It's blue.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is blue and orange.
Blue and orange. Yes. Yes. I love those two combinations together. Like an orange striped shirt and a blue blazer. To me, that's just knockout killer. I love that.
Right? I find it's because you're adding the sky and the sunset together, right?
Well, very clever. Oh, you see, that's a good imagination. Yes.
Because the sunset has to move the clouds in order for it to shine.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'm going to remember that next time I wear blue and orange combination.
So does blue represent anything for you growing up?
No, I just find it a pretty color. Yeah. No. No. I mean, my favorite bird is a red bird, but my favorite color is not red. And my favorite bird is not a cardinal. I mean, a blue jay. Yeah, it's just whatever.
We're just flipping it all over. We're just having a good old twisted tea here.
Yes.
So Zane, I asked you one word to describe yourself, and you gave me the word passionate. Why that word?
Because, oh gosh, yes, I'm very passionate. And when I get on something, I am 120% committed to it. And it can be exhausting for me and for other people around me, but I don't tackle anything halfway. I'm passionate about the causes I believe in, and I act on it, and I act passionately. So I think that's one word that describes me as passionate.
I love it. And I love that people can take one word and describe themselves.
Yes.
Sometimes when I ask that question, people are like, one word? Ooh, that's a hard one. And I'm like, it is a hard one. That's why I ask it. I don't do easy.
Well, what's yours? What's your one word description?
Different.
Different. I like that. I like that a lot. I love that. Good for you. Yes, different.
Yeah, because I don't serve the same way. I don't look at things the same way. I'm very different. I analyze a lot. I look deep inside. So yeah, I'm different.
You're different. And that's a good different. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, good for you.
So I want to get into Abella. Is there any more adventures for her coming?
Well, yes, there is. She's going to get into meeting some racehorses. We have a couple of racehorses, and I one of that's going to be in the book is called "That's My Boxer." All one word. That's my boxer. And he got hurt several different times, but he still made it to the track. Anyway, so she's going to befriend him, and it's going to be just a fun book. Well, all of them are fun, 26 pages, lots of big pictures, but it will be about the racehorses. And ideally it would be a trilogy, but I'm just not sure. But we go to Saratoga Springs in upstate New York for the summer, and that's where they have a lot of horse racing. So I've met a lot of people with farms up there that have keep the racehorses, when they become sires or mares. So I've made a lot of friends in that. So I have a lot of people I can talk to and interview and get a lot of background stuff.
I think that's really cool. And I like that. And that's my boxer. I like that.
That's my boxer.
That's my boxer.
I love that's my boxer.
Say that 5 times. That's my boxer.
That's my boxer. Oh, he is so playful. He loves to play with my hair. And he's so sweet. They're like, they're wonderful. They're like dogs in a lot of ways. They recognize your voice, your smell, and your mannerisms. So he's a sweetheart. He's not so fast, but he is very sweet.
So when is that book going to come out?
I haven't even started it. It takes about a year.
I was hoping that my boxer is coming out.
That's my boxer. That's in the pipeline right up here. No, I've got to start it because it takes about a year because I self-publish, and that is a laborious, time-consuming project. Checking, double checking, and you've got to hire all these people to fine tune it, but it takes about a year. So I need to get started on it because one of the ladies in Saratoga, she's got a fabulous farm, and she invited me over. She says, "Oh, you've got to include these animals in your next book." And so I went and I took pictures and I wrote notes. And so, yeah, I got a lot to put in that book. There's a lot of pressure about that book actually now.
And here I am. Where is that? That's my boxer book.
That's my boxer. It'll be a great book once it gets out.
I'll have to get that one for my granddaughter. That's my boxer.
Yes.
So Zane, I want to get into the Carruth Foundation. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, okay. Brady's parents were extremely philanthropic, very philanthropic. And when they passed away, like everybody knows, you pay your taxes right off the top. There's no tax break. You pay your taxes. And then they took a big sizable chunk of their money and set it aside for a foundation. And that is a foundation that we give to a lot of different causes. And his parents didn't put any, he's head of it now. He's a president, and then I served with him. And we can give to just about whatever we want, but, you know, it's a small family foundation, so it's not humongous, but it's nice, and it gives you a good feeling to know that you can make a difference and you can help, like certain schools or certain medical studies, and we give to just a variety of different causes. Some of them on an annual basis, you know, they count on you, and then some of them as they come up. But I'm very proud of my association. I had wanted to be on that board ever since we got married, but Brady never would let me. I don't know why. Maybe I'm too bossy. I don't know. But
Well,
then one day he did.
So Zane,
now
you've been
I am
on many boards. So
Yes.
what do you get from being on the boards?
Well, it's like the SPCA obviously is very close to my heart because I love animals and I love dogs. And actually, Brady's parents were big in the SPCA, so I feel very proud to continue the torch that they started. And then Theater Under the Stars, Tuts. I love live music, live musicals, live theater. I think that's wonderful for kids to experience and for people. It just brings you joy when you go to see a good live theater. And then Discovery Green, which is a fabulous park here in Houston that started out as a parking lot, 11-acre. Well, it's now 11 acres, but it started out a huge parking lot. It's one of the finest parks you'll see anywhere. And it's all privately funded. It's funded from foundations and individuals, and not the government, not the city. It's a privately funded park. And people come from lots of different cities to look at Discovery Green and to take away from some of the stuff that we've done on that park. It's highly successful.
I like that it's privately owned.
Yes, it's well, you know, that's just like anything. I think philanthropic efforts get a bad rap sometime, but what people don't realize, when you go to the med center, like in Houston, one of the biggest med centers in the world, those big hospitals, they are the way they are because they're funded by families and foundations. You don't go in there. This isn't the VA hospital that the government does. This is the best of everything because there have been very generous people that have given to these hospitals. And I just don't think that people get a good rap. Sometimes people, I don't know. I had a hairdresser one time. I had to quit going to her because she made such snide remarks about different things that I was involved in. So I just don't think people get it. You don't have the best of the best government funded. It just doesn't work that way because the government can't. They just don't have the money. But, you know, private individuals, if whatever their passion is, they give to it, and it makes a huge difference.
Well, I think you just mentioned that, Zane. You know, when it's privately funded, the passion is there. When it's
Yes.
government funded, they just feel like, oh, here's the funds here. We don't need to be bothered with you anymore. You know,
Yes.
oh, well, that doesn't get done. No, well, you got to wait for your next grant. You got to wait for your next funding. But when it's privately owned, the passion is there, the purpose is there, and you have people engaging in the foundations, in the boards, you know, asking, why is this not working? Why is that working? You know, a lot of government, we get a lot of stigma on privately owned fundraisers and foundations and organizations because the government fund comes in and says, oh, no, but they don't have this, they don't have that, they don't have this. But they're the ones that don't have all of those things that they're saying we don't have.
Exactly. And the nice thing about privately funded organizations like parks and hospitals and whatever is they're constantly improving. They never get stagnant. It's like there's always fresh ideas, fresh new events coming up, or for parks, it's anything. But just like the SPCA, that is privately funded. And that we have a fabulous campus, the SPCA, and it treats every kind of animal in the world. We've had bears, bobcats, and everything, eagles, but privately funded is a good thing. And I think everybody benefits from these generous people who do that.
Well, I
my
really want to
opinion.
just thank you for being on these boards. We have so much stigma in the world on the good stuff, and we have all of the positive on the negative stuff.
I
We really
know.
just got to flip it. Like, we need
We've
to,
yes,
you know, it's
just
like a
that just
flip
goes.
burger. We just got to flip the burger. Like,
That's right. Just bring
everybody
some
needs
of
to
that
start eating a
innocence
good
back.
burger. I think and people are not eating enough burgers. That's what it is. so, Zane, you've raised over 3 million. So is that with all of the different boards that you've been on, or
No,
just the one?
that's just the SPCA
Oh, wow.
because we're building a new campus and it's expensive. And no, I was on the capital campaign committee, and that I got private donations and from foundations and individuals, and then we've chaired 3 of their galas. That's a fundraiser event, and actually we'll probably chair it again next year. It's their 100th year anniversary for the SPCA in Houston. 100 years, that's pretty good.
Wow.
They've done a tremendous amount of good. They train a lot of these dogs that go to the vets, those rescue dogs. They train those. And so they do a tremendous amount, the Houston SPCA.
So do you have any events coming up?
Yes. We are chairing the Tuts Gala, Theater Under the Stars, November 11th. And then we'll be going to the SPCA Gala October 27th. But yeah, that's I've got two or three more tables to fill.
Awesome. Now I want to get into, you had mentioned to me in the background before we went live about pajamas. So let's
Oh,
get
yes.
into what's going on with pajamas. I'm so excited to get this out there.
Well, Neiman, and thank you for asking, but Neiman Marcus has a program that's called Books to Bed, and they pair a pair of pajamas with a book, and they have selected my little books to be part of their program. And see, they designed this little pair of pajamas with the illustrations from my books, and it's in size 2 to 10. Look how cute. Isn't that adorable?
Beautiful Christmas gifts to go with books and
Yes,
pajamas,
and
right?
the official launch is October 14th in the Galleria in Houston at Neiman's. And you can reserve your copy by going to RSVP Houston at NeimanMarcus.com. And then once after the 14th, they will be online in the Books to Bed section. If you just pull up Neiman Marcus, click on Books to Bed. I mean, they've got some great books. Madeline is there, The Little Engine That Could, Love You to the Moon and Back. So my little Abella's in good company.
So how did you find out about Books to Bed?
It was the grace of God. That's all it was, because I was at this fundraiser and met this young lady. She goes, "Oh, I remember you from an SPCA gala." So we started talking, and it always goes, "Well, what do you do? What do you do?" And I said, "Well, what do you do?" She goes, "Oh, well, I work for Neiman Marcus." I said, "Well, that's wonderful, because I've been trying to get into Neiman Marcus to have a book signing for several years. I just can't find the right person." She goes, "Well, that would be me." So she gave me her card, and we scheduled to meet for lunch, I don't know, about 2 or 3 weeks later. And when I got there, she said, "Have you heard of our Books to Bed program?" I said, "No." But anyway, so she sent all my books that I had sent her to the Department for Books to Bed, and they voted on putting my books in the program. So you could have blown me over with a feather. So it's taken about a year to get this far with it. But let me show you the pajamas again, so you see how cute. See, look.
Oh, they're adorable. My granddaughter is going to be 3 in March, and I'm like, oh my goodness,
she needs
so
a pair of
adorable.
these. Yes, and right now the books that you can pair with it is Abella Goes to the Rodeo, or the original World's First Tooth Fairy, or Abella Goes to the Rodeo, which this is such a fun book. We could talk about this. It's a fun book. But anyway, yes, I'm very excited. And I really, really want this program to be successful. So please, Books to Bed, Neiman Marcus.
So I got one question for Books to Bed. all
Okay.
the books that are in Books to Bed, do they have pajamas or is it just yours?
Yes, they all have pajamas. So if you see something that you like, if you have a little grandson or a little nephew or something, or you could pick one from Little Engine that could. So they're all up there. You can, I don't know, there's maybe 10 of them, but it's nice because Brady and I were in New York, and Neiman's now owns Bloomingdale's, believe it or not. So we
Wow.
went in there and they had several of them left, but I don't know which stores will actually carry them, but they will be available online for everybody. But so we're rolling out the launch on the 14th.
Oh, I'm so excited for you. And last year, that's where I did all my Christmas shopping for my grandkids and my family. Was all of my guests that were on Teatime. So if they have books, they have pajamas, they have clothing, they have chocolates. That's where I did my Christmas shopping last year to support all of my guests that are on. So I got like books, I got pajamas, I got a badass. Bonnie was on. I got her clothing line. We just need to start supporting people that we host.
Well, and we're just little struggling. I'm just a little struggling author here, and most of us, I think, are just kind of struggling in today's economy for different things. But anyway, well, good. Well, I would appreciate you getting a little pair for your niece or.
Oh yeah, and I'll send you the picture of her in them. Like I am.
Yes, and I'll put it on my website.
I'll be like, here's my granddaughter. Like, yeah. And she loves books. That's one thing I can say with my daughter. She has gotten her into books when she was like a year and a half. She loves story time, and she's really, really good with books. So yeah, for sure. That's one of the Christmas gifts. I've already wrote it down. Get for Christmas on my paper.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. That makes me very happy, and I look forward to seeing the picture of her. What's your little granddaughter's name?
Raylan.
Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty. Yes. Really.
Yeah, Daddy named a baby, so it's different, and it's spelled different too. It's Raeliy, LNY.
Reland. Yeah, Reland. Yeah.
Yeah, Raylan. And then my youngest wants to have Waylon, so I'm like, just bring all the little Lins to Grandma.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the rodeo. I want to get a rodeo ride here.
Oh gosh, well, the rodeo, the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is the largest in the world, and for 20, 21, and 22, my husband was chairman of the board, and I was the first lady of the rodeo, and I had my own carriage, and oh my gosh, and some of the best stars come to perform. Well, Willie Nelson, I mean, who doesn't love him?
That was my first concert that I ever went to, was Willie Nelson and the Nitty Gritty Band. And everybody's like, really?
Yes,
that's the first one you went to? And I was like, yeah.
And they still perform, but they're not called the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band anymore, are they?
I'm not sure. I think they changed their name.
I think they did. And they're from this area. I should know that because they're all from Texas. But Tim McGraw, Blake Shelton, Gwen Stefani, everybody on their way up, like Taylor Swift, Adrienne, how do you say her name? Even Elvis Presley, Cher, they've all been to the rodeo. But it's a fundraiser, and they give away $22 million worth of scholarships every year.
Wow.
They're a nonprofit, but they give away $22 million. Even during COVID, they managed to give away their commitment. They paid their commitment, but it brings in a tremendous amount of money for the city, for restaurants, for clothing, for food, taxis, Uber, whatever. It's a big, huge money-making deal for Houston, Texas. And the Cowboys love it because the purses are large. And it's such a, oh my gosh, everything in Houston is so big, and the facility.
I've heard that.
You just spread out. There's a carnival, and there's all kind of food, and even Bun B. You heard of Bun B, that rapper? Well, he has a hamburger place called Trillions or Trillion. I don't know, something. And anyway, he has a hamburger place at the rodeo, and now he's got one in Houston, and people just wait in line. My husband drove by it the other day, and he said the line was around the block. just to get into Trill Burgers. I think it's Trill Burgers. Anyway, bun
See, I told you we were talking about burgers earlier, Zane.
Yeah.
We go right
That's what
back
made
to
me
burgers.
think of it.
We need burgers.
Yes. If you come to Houston, I'll take you to the Trill Burger.
I'm a beef girl. Like, I like my ribs. I like my meat, guys. I
do too. Yeah, no, I'm a big red meat protein eater. It's good for you, and it helps your body produce collagen.
Yeah. So I want to talk about Abella in the rodeo. Is that why you wrote about the rodeo?
I did because I had access, to everybody. I mean, I interviewed the world's greatest, bravest bullfighter, Leon Coffey. Now, he's not a bullfighter like in Spain, but what they do is they divert the bull's attention. When the cowboy gets bucked off, that's what a bullfighter is. They save that life. So I interviewed Leon, and it's a wonderful experience to be able to go backstage like that and see all these people and just experience it firsthand. So that's why I wrote the book, because I had access to a lot of stuff that people didn't know about.
Can you show us the book?
Yes, certainly.
Oh, I love the color. I love the cover. Like, the colors are just beautiful.
There's Leon Coffey, the greatest, bravest bullfighter in the world.
Wow.
He is great. He was so tickled when I wrote that book about him. And the rodeo was so sweet that we had about 3 book signings 2 years in a row. And Leon would come and, I'd do the book reading, and it was a lot of fun. I was very pleased that they sell the book at the rodeo, because, you feel bad. The chairman of the board's wife wrote a book about the rodeo, and they rolled their eyes, but once they read it, they saw it. It was okay.
I was just going to ask you, do they sell it at the rodeo?
Yes, they do. They do. And it's a good seller. Yeah, it's all propped up in their different merchandising areas.
I think it's nice to have children's books in different avenues like this,
Well, yes. The main thing is people grab them on their way out because they don't want to walk. Because these are big books. These are, look, big. That's not some little bitty book you can put in your purse. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed writing that book because I just fell in love with Leon Coffey. He was so nice and accommodating. I think every bone in his body has been broken, and he's had several concussions because he used to be a bull rider, but even as a bull fighter, he would get bounced around, and I don't think he was ever gored, but bad. I mean, he hit the dust a lot, but anyway, people love him. The crowd goes nuts when he comes out on the field.
Well, I think it's amazing that you opened that door too, because there's not many children's books out there about rodeos.
No, and what was a learning experience for this was you have to stay on that bull or that bronking horse for 8 seconds to qualify. So they have to hold on to the saddle horn with their hand up in the air for at least 8 seconds to qualify. Then they can jump off if they haven't already been pitched off. But yes, that's the 8-second rule. That's what that means.
Well, 8 seconds is a long time when you're riding something like that.
8 seconds is a long time. And, sometimes, I've watched those bulls are so crazy. I mean, some of those guys get beat up just before they ever get out of the chute because, the bulls just all over the place.
So what's the name of the person that runs out in I always called it the clown. I thought it was the clown rodeo.
We don't call them clowns anymore. His name is Leon Coffey. Mr. Leon Coffey, the world's greatest bullfighter of all time. And he's been inducted into the Cowboy Hall of Fame and a lot. Yeah, it's all in my book. It's all, see, there's Mr. Leon Coffey. He's great.
So Zane, we're almost at the end here. I want to talk about some of the awards that you received, the ABC 13 Woman of Distinction.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk a little bit about that for viewers out there that might want to know a little bit more about that one.
Well, it's the group, ABC News or whoever it is, they just select a certain amount of women. I think my year was maybe it was 8 women. And it's based on your philanthropic efforts, things you've done, how successful you are in the community. And it's a humongous honor. I mean, I was so thrilled to get that because, I don't know, it's just something fun to celebrate. It was just, I was happy to get that. That was, because you get a new dress, and my granddaughter came in, and my daughter and her husband, and my husband, we were all at the ceremony, and I walked down that little runway in my dress.
So let's talk about the Book Monster Book Award, Story Monster Book Award.
Yes, Story Monsters. Well, that is they have a contest every year, and they have a lot of different categories, and you select the categories you want to be in. One of the categories is, illustrations, or the book cover, or the book itself. So I just always enter it for the book, and then they just pick, for different categories. And so I was thrilled to have been. I think every one of my books have won something from the Story Monster platform, whichever category it is, Purple Monster or whatever they are. Yes.
So Zane, what message would you like to give to all the little kids out there?
Just be nice to yourself, be nice to your friends, be nice to your parents, and read books. There's a whole world out there for you to read books. It increases your vocabulary, your imagination. It can take you anywhere you want to go. So read books and read them to your little siblings. That's my message.
And what message do you have for the adults?
Be nice to yourself. Be nice to others. And read to your children.
And have a burger.
And have a burger, for Pete's sakes.
Let's flip the burgers, right? Let's really get it out there.
Yes.
It is really, truly amazing on how we connect and how stories bring us together and bring back memories of childhood when we hear just the titles of children's books. And I'm big on children's books because I feel that we need more of them out there. We need more of that imagination coming out. The colors, let's get bright. Let's just write books. So again, we do have a contest that's going to be going out. Miss Liz will create a flyer. We'll give it 2 weeks, and we'll see how many nursery rhymes we get, and then I'll send them to Zane, and we'll go through for the nursery rhyme. 4 lines. Write a nursery rhyme. Age appropriate, and we will announce the winner, and we will get Zane to
you'll get a set of books.
Give you a set of
Can't
books.
beat that.
And there you go. Early Christmas gifts, guys. Come on.
Yes.
You got to start shopping now. Don't wait till last minute, because you wait for the last minute, then you never get what you want.
No, you don't get the colors you want, the sizes you need.
So again, before we wrap up, we have less than 2 minutes. I want to get the pajamas. So if you could hold the pajamas up and hold the books up so everybody can see the books, see the pajamas, and we're going to do a last show.
Okay. Available. NeimanMarcus.com. Here's the bottoms. Look how cute. These are size 4s, but they come in size 2 to 10. And then as they've got the illustrations from all my books, this one, and obviously this one, the original World's First Tooth Fairy. But I would highly encourage you to get those pajamas because they come in a beautiful gift set with the ribbon, and each pair of pajamas is paired with a book. And it just makes for a nice gift set. If you're going to a baby shower or have to get some little child a gift, kids love pajamas. I used to buy my grandson's pajamas all the time. Every holiday. They had every holiday pajamas, and they would have these if they were big enough.
If you had them in the adult size, I would buy a set.
I would too. I love them.
I love pajamas. My kids always ask me, Mom, what do you want for Christmas? Pajamas.
Pajamas. I just
pajamas.
want jammies.
And you're like, Mom, but we bought you pajamas last year. No pajamas.
Yep. Well, it ain't broke.
Zane, I really want to thank you for joining me on Tea Time. I want to thank a special shout out to Savage Unfiltered Podcast as well. He was a Tea Time guest. Check out his podcast as well. Thank you for the moral support. Thank you to all the viewers and listeners out there. I could not do this with all of yous out there. Share these Tea Time, subscribe to the channel. And if there's a Tea Time that resonates with you, give it to a coworker, give it to another platform, give it to another podcast, give it to another radio. That's what Miss Liz is here all about. I will see everybody on Thursday for 3 shows, and we'll be talking about multicultural acceptance and children's writing. So, and it'll be all children's books again. So we got a show for you on Thursday. So until then, I will see everybody Thursday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the first Tea Time. And I want to thank you again, Zane, for joining me on Tea Time with Miss Liz.
Oh, I loved it. I feel like I made a new friend.